Hello, it's Brooke Devard, and you're listening to the Naked Beauty Podcast. Welcome back to a new episode, and today is a solo episode, but I just wanted to reflect. I just turned 36. Happy birthday to all of the Leos listening. And birthdays always make me feel reflective, but this one also feels different because, yes, it's a new age, but we've also reached over 350 episodes of Naked Beauty. I believe this is episode 355. That means you could listen to an episode of Naked Beauty every single day and get to the end of the year. But that also means that I've had conversation after conversation with people I deeply admire about beauty and what it means. I thought it would be fun to sit back and reflect on the biggest beauty lessons I've learned over the course of doing this show. I've spoken to makeup artists, dermatologists, celebrities, scientists, and just like your everyday girls that are super inspiring. Trends come and go, but there are certain truths about beauty that have stayed with me. And these truths just feel even more meaningful as I hit this milestone. So today, for my birthday, I want to share 3 of the biggest lessons I've learned after all of these conversations. These are lessons that I'm carrying with me into this next year of my life, and I hope you all carry too. Okay. Lesson number 1 is decide how you want to show up. Your presentation is an opportunity to express yourself. From hair to clothes to just your energy, your posture, the way you walk into a room, it's more powerful when you do it intentionally. When I think about the women who I really admire, their beauty expression is very intentional, curated, and it's repeated almost until it becomes iconic. And that intention is what makes it powerful. Now, we aren't all going to have a signature look, but there is something to be said for thinking deeply about the way you want to show up. I think a conversation on this podcast that will stay with me forever is the conversation that we had with Dita Von Teese. Sir John and I sat down with her. I can remember being in the studio. Her beauty is really otherworldly. And she said something that's really never left me. She said, it's not what you're born with that's interesting, it's what you do with it. Pretty people are a dime a dozen. Being pretty isn't that interesting. What have you done with what you're born with? What have you done in terms of your own lived experience and telling your story through the way that you show up? She's this incredible burlesque icon, but she didn't wake up one day and become that. She grew up in this small town, she decided she wanted something more, and she built herself into this 1940s pinup siren. She committed to her look, she refined it, she made it her signature, and now in her 50s, she's headlining her own burlesque show in Vegas. And so what I love about her story is the intention behind it. She didn't wait for someone to give her permission to be this glamorous, unapologetic version of herself. She decided it. And that's something that we all have access to, a point of view about how we show up. You don't have to be a performer. You don't have to have a signature look. You could be a lawyer that brings a little bit of vintage glamour into the office, a teacher that wears bold lipstick every day. It's not about having this costume or being even performative with your self-presentation, but committing to having a point of view about the way you show up. And your commitment may be, I actually don't want to wear makeup. I want to just focus on my skincare and make sure my skin is always glowing and gorgeous every time I wake up and start my day. And that can be your commitment to yourself. It also reminds me of a conversation that we had with Law Roach last summer where he talked about repeating looks and how he hates that with social media, you're expected to be in a different outfit every time you pop out. As I'm saying this, I can hear Law's voice saying, I wear my clothes, right? You have clothes to wear them. Repeating looks is how you build a sort of signature style profile. I have over the years become much more intentional about what I wear and what I buy, and my focus on sustainability and avoiding fast fashion and figuring out how to look chic and elegant and put together, but still always be comfortable. That's one of my core pillars. Like, I always want to be comfortable. And when I think about my own look, most of my creative expression comes from my hair. I love changing my hair. If you all follow me on social media, you know, every month I'm changing my hair. I'm doing something different with my braids. I'm literally, after I record this, I'm going to see Corey to update my hair. I'm doing my first U-part wig. I will update you all on that journey. But I love thinking about different ways that I can wear my hair. Some people have the same hairstyle year round, and I love that for them. And that becomes their signature look. But I think it's really important for all of us to ask ourselves, do I like the way that I'm wearing my hair? Do I like the way that I'm doing my makeup? Do I like my approach to my skincare, the way that I'm dressing? And if the answer is no, or I wish I could refine it more and make it better or more interesting, then that's a journey that is absolutely worth going on. I think so often we think that these things are like superfluous or not important, or like there's so much happening in the world. Who cares about, changing your hair color? Is that really the most important thing to focus on? But I would argue that in crafting the life that you want to live, being intentional about the way that you show up and self-present is a really big part of that. And in periods where I haven't been intentional about that, because of my mental state or physical state, I'm thinking specifically in that postpartum period where, like, realistically, no, you're not going to look cute 99% of the time when you're caring for a newborn baby. But that also has a negative impact on mental health, right? Not being able to show up and present in the way that feels good to you doesn't feel great mentally. So I think it's really, really important. It's only become more important to me over the years to have a point of view and really think deeply about how I show up. So my challenge to all of you, maybe think of a big event you have coming up. Don't just tick the box and think about looking quote unquote pretty or quote unquote nice. Think about making a moment. Think about communicating something with the way that you show up that makes you feel like your best, most powerful self. Lesson 2, great skin comes from consistency. That is one of the biggest lessons I've learned after interviewing maybe a dozen dermatologists on the show. We've talked to Dr. Shireen Idris, who you guys probably know as Pillow Talk Derm. My dermatologist, Dr. Elena Jones, who also treats Pharrell and is the chief dermatologist at Human Race. Skincare enthusiasts like Charlotte Palomino. I've talked to so many people about skin on this show, and here's what they all agree on. There's no single miracle product. There's no magic gadget. It's not an infrared sauna. It's not a red light therapy mask. It's not a gua sha. The foundation of great skin is a routine and sticking to it. You have to learn what works for your skin, adopt it into your skincare routine, and then stick to that routine. This means sunscreen every single day, washing your face every single night, even if you didn't wear makeup. Hopefully you're washing off that sunscreen. Using a good cleanser, and good does not mean expensive. That's another big, big lesson I've learned. Good does not mean expensive. Good means it works for your skin. The ingredients are nourishing to your skin. They're helping your skin thrive. It does not mean expensive. A good cleanser, a good moisturizer, and then you're doing it again tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that. One reason people struggle with their skin is whiplash. They're switching products constantly because something new just launched. And I get it. The desire to try a new thing every day is very high for me. I'm getting new products all the time, but it's really, really essential to stick to your core products that you know work. Of course, test, integrate new products when they work for your skin. That's lovely. But you really have to stick to a foundation and do it consistently. If I wanted my body to be at its peak performance, which it's not right now, and that's okay. That's not my priority right now. But if I did want it to be at its peak performance, that would mean committing to a routine of strength training, of cardio, of rest, of stretching, and committing to it day after day after day after day and being consistent about it. You cannot get good at anything. Even if I wanted to learn how to do something new, if I wanted to learn how to speak a new language, I would have to consistently work at it to get good results. And skincare is no different. The other thing is you have to learn your skin. You have to be a scientist about it. You have to pay attention, track how it responds, and test slowly. Now, I personally have never really been into facials. I just feel like I can, rub products into my skin myself. I don't need to pay someone to do that. I prefer, a deep tissue massage. Get into the neck and the trapped muscles. That's how I prefer to spend my time with a practitioner. My skincare is very hands-on. Now my hair, I outsource all day. Manicure, pedicure, outsource. But my skin, that's something that's mine to tend to daily. And if you can, see a dermatologist at least once. Bring your products to that appointment. They'll often tell you that you're doing too much. They'll look at all of the products that you're using and they'll say, okay, you've got an active ingredient in this cleanser, this serum, and then this moisturizer also has an active ingredient in it. This is irritating your skin long term. Or they'll look at your products and say, this is duplicative. You don't need to use both of these things. They'll also probably prescribe you retinol. You can ask, don't wait for them. Ask any dermatologist appointment you set. If you're not on retinol, prescription grade retinol, they do a lot of great over-the-counter retinol, but get on a prescription Retin-A. Now, I am still breastfeeding. Gosh, can't wait to wrap this chapter of my life up. It's a beautiful chapter. Breastfeeding is lovely. That connection with Jade, I can never replace it. Years from now, I'll look back on this time very fondly. But I'm also eager to get back to my retinol prescription. I'm ready to be in it. Retinol is one of those ingredients that has been clinically proven time and time again to just change your skin for the better. And that's something that you can get from a dermatologist appointment. In the long run, a dermatologist will save you hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars, on having a more effective and efficient skincare routine. Another thing that's really important for having a consistent routine is recognizing your lifestyle and thinking about how you can design your life to support a consistent routine. So if you shower at night, I know a lot of people are like, never ever wash your face in the shower. That's like the worst thing you can do for your skin. By the way, the reason people say that is because the water in your shower is very hot, and it's not really the best to wash your face with super hot water, like the same hot water you would use to wash your body. That's not to say that you can't just turn the knob and make the water a few degrees cooler and wash your face in the shower. If that is the difference between you washing your face at night and you not doing it, wash your face in the shower. And then if you know you don't want to stand around after the shower dripping wet in a towel, putting on moisturizer and all these serums, if that's not for you, keep your moisturizer in your bedside. And as you're watching, Netflix on your laptop, maybe that's when you put your moisturizer on. Or maybe that's when you gua sha, because you know that unless you're doing it while you're in bed doing something else, you're not going to do it. You have to be real with yourself. You have to really think about, okay, what is going to make it so that I do these things? Now, I currently, in my new role, I have to sign online around 7:30 a.m. That's very early because I have some team members in the UK. So I'm online early, and when I sign on, I work by a window. It's not usually very bright by the time I start working. I keep my little Shiseido sun stick by my desk and I apply my sunscreen in the morning before I join my calls so that I know that my sunscreen is on for that whole day that I'm in front of the window. It's there for a reason so that I remember to put it on. I've also been experimenting with mineral sunscreens, which, as you all know, for a person of color, very, very difficult game. The Ranavat mineral sunscreen with like saffron extract, beautiful. The formulation is gorgeous, and to me, it's the best mineral sunscreen I've had that doesn't leave that like chalky white cast. I'll link to it in the show notes, but I've been very impressed by that. So here's the bottom line. Consistency, curiosity, and daily care will take you further than the fanciest skincare product. Lesson 3 and my final lesson. This is a heartfelt lesson, but you all will feel me on this. Beauty is connection. So you all know one question I ask every guest is, when do you feel most beautiful? And the answers are never just one thing. Some people say it's in nature. Some people say it's when they're with someone that they love, when they're with their kids, when they're fully glammed, when they've accomplished something that they didn't think they could accomplish. But beauty often lives in these moments of connection. Connection to ourselves, connection to other people, and connection to something bigger. I think, we live in a world now, especially post-pandemic. A lot of you found my podcast during the pandemic. In that time, you couldn't really see people. You couldn't be in community with people. And I think I will include myself in this. Sometimes like my social stamina isn't what it used to be. Like I don't have the energy to like go out and like meet my friends as often as I would have. And I think also because of, the rise of therapy, a very good thing, but the rise of like therapy speak, like people will kind of like cocoon themselves in an insular place for their own self-care. And sometimes that is absolutely necessary. But sometimes you gotta like go outside and like touch grass, as they say, and be in community with other people. Go to a day party, go to a gallery, go to a fun hike with friends. Like I think being in community with other people is so important for our overall well-being. And I think it actually makes us feel more beautiful. In my own life, the moments I feel most beautiful, they're when my son, runs into my arms after he's home from school, when my daughter smiles at me in the morning. Oh my God, that is the best feeling. When my husband sometimes and I will like kind of catch each other's eyes across the room. When I'm with friends, just laughing so hard, like, that good laugh where like your face hurts because you've been laughing so much. Like those are the moments that feel so good. So the thing I want to leave you all with is pay attention to those connection moments and notice when you feel truly seen. I think feeling beautiful is really, really linked to feeling seen, right? Like when I've spoken to so many women about not feeling beautiful growing up, that is a direct response to not feeling seen or represented in the media. Like I never saw girls who looked like me. People who looked like me were never the beauty standards, so therefore I didn't feel as beautiful. I think that there's a real beauty in being seen, and there's a way that your loved ones and the people that you really trust and have known for a long time can make you feel seen in this way that like, it's like nothing comes close to that. So, in closing, after 350 plus episodes and on this 36th year of life, by the way, when I started the podcast, I was 27. I was 27. I didn't have any kids. I was living in New York, recording this podcast when I could at my living room table. Like, the journey that we have all been on has been incredible. All of you listening, even if you've only been listening for a couple of years, your relationship to beauty has changed. My relationship to beauty has changed. Like, we are all always changing and constantly evolving, but there are some things that are always true. So here's what I'm carrying with me into this new year. 1, decide your beauty point of view and be intentional about it. Commit to it. Don't feel like that's a waste of time. 2, keeping my skincare routine simple but consistent. And then 3, looking for beauty in connection. The way we see ourselves will always evolve, and that's a good thing. And since it's my birthday, I'm going to ask for a little gift from all of you. I want to hear what your number one beauty lesson is. It could be something you learned from the podcast. It could be something you learned from your friends, from your family, something you just discovered on your own. What is the thing? What is the one little beauty practice you've done that has changed the game for you? Email me at nakedbeautypodcast@gmail.com. Make the subject line beauty tip and I will incorporate it into a future episode. I'm so grateful for this incredible community. Here's to another year of talking, learning, and living beauty together. I'll be back next week with a new episode. Thank you all so much for listening.
You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You be like heaven to touch. I wanna hold you so much. At long last, love has arrived, and I thank God I'm alive. You're just too good to be true.